Which is why I want to be there for it, because because nobody knows anything.
Well, and it's why I feel bad for our West Side folks who are going to be driving 45 minutes to an hour to do it.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Is there anybody that would like to offer invocation? Supervisor Pryor, thank you. And then we'll follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Check. Heavenly Father, we come here today to do the business of the county and the cities as the Merced County Association of Governments. I pray that you give us wisdom to make the right decisions. I pray that you give our staff the knowledge to help us do that. And I pray that you bless each and every person who's given their time here today to serve their communities. And finally, Lord, I pray that you heal our country. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Director Pryor. Joy, would you call the roll?
Director Kale? Director Reed?
Present.
Director Nagy?
Here.
Director Samra?
Present.
Director Amabil? Here. Director Serrato? Director Pacheco? Director Pedroso?
Here.
Director McDaniel?
Present.
Director Pereira?
Present.
Chair Silvera?
Present.
And we do have a quorum.
Let the record reflect Director Kale is here. Perfect. She called you. Here. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. All right. Moving on to item number 2, approval of the agenda. Chair will entertain a motion. So moved. So I have Pedroso as the first, and I think I heard Samra as the second. I don't need to get public comment on this item, do I? No. All right. If there are not any other questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item number 3, public comment. This is the public's opportunity to speak. Public comment is available in advance of or during the meeting. See the instructions for public comment on page 2 of the agenda packet. Is there any member of the public that would like to address this board? Not seeing anyone, we will close the public comment period. Move on to item number 4. 4A is recognition of outgoing chair Michael Amabil.
Do you want to go?
You want to do it out front? Did you get a microphone? I want some pictures, Mike.
18 years running.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
All right, so this is given to Director Michael Amabil in appreciation of your leadership, dedication, and service as chairperson of the MCAG Governing Board from January 2025 through June of 2025. A short but much needed chairmanship, and we were fortunate enough to have someone who sat in this role some years back and is back into local government, and so we're very thankful for you, sir. Congratulations.
Yeah, I can talk for a long time, so. Well, thank you all very much. I appreciated coming on the board, my second go-around as mayor, and you guys trusting in me. I appreciate that very much. That was my 3rd time as chair. On my 13th year, I think I've said this before, 13th year on the MCAG board. I'm really proud to be part of this board. It's come a long ways since the 90s, and I enjoy being with all of you, and I appreciate this very much and appreciate the residents too. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving right along, we're moving to item 4B. This is the Caltrans District 10 report. Tom, there's a button right to your right that'll lower that if you'd like.
I'm gonna grow one day.
Okay.
Is it on?
Yep, you're on.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Tom Dumas. I'm the Chief for Metropolitan Planning in District 10 for Stockton. Sorry, I'm your pinch hitter today for our Acting Deputy Director, Caleb Brock, who's down in San Luis Obispo, I believe, at a meeting. But anyway, I'll get on to the good news first. Congratulations to MCAG on their recent award for over $288 million. I mean, 288,000. Sorry.
Oh, I was like, you see
No,
the
it's new
whiplash?
math.
Did you see my whiplash when you said that?
I did.
I missed that memo.
You're like, wow.
I know.
Well, you know, unfortunately, my word gets you not much. It has to come from headquarters in a letter. So, but anyway, $288 million for update of your MCAG. 288,000. Sorry.
Are you sure it's not 288 million?
You know, I keep wishing it was.
You're almost manifesting it.
Ooh, maybe next year. You can take the whole pot. Anyway, congratulations. We only had 3 successful applicants out of District 10, and you guys were one of them, and I'm very proud to say it was a great application. Governor Newsom recently appointed a new director for Caltrans, Dina L. Tawansi. It's a new role for her. She actually came out of Oakland District 4. She was the district director over there. And with her, she now has the oversight management of over 50,000 of California highway miles and a budget of nearly $18 billion. So maybe there is room for,
I think so too. It sounds like it.
you know, that sounds like a good deal. California Department of Transportation recently released the statewide release of the locally sponsored project initiation document, CAPTI Assessment Guidelines. Now, if you can say all that 10 times, you win the prize. But the guidance establishes a structured process and a set of tools to assist both the local agencies and Caltrans staff in evaluating how projects on the state highway system support the goals of the Climate Action Plan for Transportation Infrastructure. That's the CAPTI part. If you have any questions on those, I'll make it short and sweet. Please give me a call or an email, and I'll make sure you have the links to them. Other than that, we've approved the MCAG OWP for 25-26. Congratulations. No conditional award or anything on that. Thank you. And other than that, I'm here for any last-minute questions.
Does anybody have any questions? Tom?
I was going to say,
Director Pereira?
something broken.
What was your, who got appointed to what?
Her name is Dina L. Tawansi. She is our new Caltrans director
For the state?
for the state.
Oh, okay.
She, too, came out of the same place Tony Tavares came from. District 4 is cranking them out lately. But yeah,
All right, any other questions? Thank you for your comments, sir.
thank you.
Non's going to come up now. And
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we'll start, I'll go over key projects, especially one project, and cover some action items. And so with that, thank you, Mike. So the first project is 0G830. It has 5 locations. One is just north of the city. 2 are east of Gustine on 140, and 2 locations are west of 152 and 59 intersection. So with that, the first location is at Bear Creek, which is more than 30% done. The completion end date is September of this year, and stage 1 should be finished this week, and stage 2, which includes work on top of the deck, concrete barrier and sidewalk removal, will start after that. And these are the pictures. The new bridge railing, bridge barrier you have, and polyester concrete overlay. Thank you. Location 2, Los Benos Creek on 140. It's done. It's nearly done. No lanes are closed. They are just going through punch list items right now. And so here are some pictures. Third location is on San Joaquin River. Here also no lanes closed, going through punch list items. So that's done. That's the work done. Now location 4 on San Joaquin River on 152 bridge. This one is 55% done. It will be done, expected, it will be done soon. The remaining work is working on the polyester concrete overlay and joint seal. So they're expediting this, and it should be done. And by August, they will remove the single lane that's closed. So. And these are some pictures for work done. And the next location right next to is on East Side Bypass Channel Bridge. It's more than 60% done, and same. We expect it will be complete by end of July. And same work, polyester concrete overlay with seal.
They're doing that now.
Yeah,
The center K-rail lane, it's out now. It's almost done.
Thank you. That's the work being done. And this is our minor A project for shared bike use path. This is where we did a conceptual report. We used that to get approval from headquarters to do a financial contribution only, and it was rejected because it's not an independent utility. So we found out a few wordings in our document. One is here. So we'll be rewriting the conceptual report. That's our first document that we do, and removing any partnership wording with MCAG or county, and show it as an independent utility. And don't mention any financial contribution in that document. And then when we get permission from headquarters, that's when we will go ahead and show financial contribution. So if that's the process, then we are following it.
Whatever it takes to get the money, we're good.
Yes. This is Livingston recycled water usage. Maybe I misunderstood it. It was maybe using untreated water, but we can use recycled water also for dust control. So we have a water tanker which can use recycled water from the wastewater treatment plant if needed. And we can use it for landscaping too, as long as we find a way to convey that water from the plant to 99. So I just drew a straight line. It's about 4,700 feet. So we have a use for that too. I will ask our maintenance staff whether they can use untreated water instead of using treated water, and that'll be the next step.
And through the chair? Yes. Just so you know, we're open to either or both. We're open to both.
And this is reporting on the encampment going on in Merced County. This work was done, we covered these areas on the week of June 2nd, and the next slide will for week of June 24th. So just to show that it's ongoing, and this week they are working on 3 locations, Livingston and Atwater and Merced area. And so this report you already read that, so I can skip that one. Next few reports.
I spelled that wrong.
Covered all that one. Next one, please. 3rd, 4th. Yeah, we covered that one. Cap tie. More information here. You heard about that one too. Thank you. Okay, and this is the rest area on I-5. It'll open early August. So the work is nearly done. It's beautiful. We'll be having a ribbon cutting ceremony soon. So, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions? Director Pereira.
Sure. So thank yous, 2 of them. The bridge on Highway 33 in Gustine at Sullivan Road took a while, but you guys resurfaced it. I haven't driven over, Mayor. Have you driven over it? Yeah. So that's awesome. It was short, but it was sure rough, and so thank you for that. And then there's a spot out on North Highway 59 that I'd been sharing where the road was breaking away. So finally, your local crew came out and cut it out, put in new road base, and did it right. And so thank you for that. Appreciate it.
All right. Any other questions or comments? All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right. Moving on. Item number 5 is information items. These items are included for informational purposes. No presentation will be made by staff unless a board member has any questions. So are there any questions on any of the information items?
Just one, I guess. So on item 8, the invitation at the high-speed rail, if you watch that video online, you can hear screeching brakes. So I don't know what the update's going to be, but just want to give you all a chuckle.
My work cut out for me.
Very good. All right. Not seeing any other comments. Do any members of the public have any comments on these items? Okay, moving on to item 6, the consent calendar. All consent calendar items listed below may be acted upon with one vote unless specifically removed for separate consideration by a member of the board, a member of staff, or a member of the public. Would any of my colleagues like to pull an item for independent discussion?
Sure. I would just like to make a comment on number 2.
Well, let's take that comment right now, sir.
So before you is to appoint Blanche George and reappoint Joe Oliveira to Measure V Site Oversight Committee, Measure V Citizen Oversight Committee. And Blanche is here. I just wanted to let the board know that I've appointed her many times, many years ago. She's a big part of our community. She's always involved, and she'll make a good appointee to the Citizens Oversight Committee.
Perfect. Thank you. And I concur with that, Mayor.
Mm-hmm. Team player.
Blanchen, thank you for coming over.
Can I make?
You want to make a comment? Good.
I just want to say thank you for coming because it's not common that we get appointees attend the meeting for their appointment. So I just appreciate that, and it's a great showing of the commitment you have already. So thank you.
Are any members of the public like to pull an item? Not seeing anyone. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll second.
All right. So we have a motion by Samra and a second by Amabil. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. All right, moving on to action items. MCAG item number 7. Action items will be considered separately by the board. Public comment will be available during each item. Item 7A, approve the Transportation Development Act apportionments for fiscal year 25-26. And we will go to Elizabeth.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So this item is regarding the funding that comes from the California Transportation Development Act. It was written in 1970. It's a huge part of how transit is funded in the state, primarily. It has a few different funding pots under the Transportation Development Act, so I'll just go through them quickly and talk about what we're proposing for the apportionments. There is a program called State Transit Assistance. That one is very strictly goes straight to transit, so it goes to TJPA as the only eligible kind of operator. There is a little bit of funding that goes to YARTS as well, and you'll see that in here, and it's been approved before. State of Good Repair, similar for transit operators, and it's for capital only. That's newer. It passed with SB1 just to try to keep transit equipment and facilities up to date. The third funding type is called the Local Transportation Fund. This one is the one where we have our unmet needs hearings throughout the year that some of you will hear about, where we solicit feedback from the public about transit needs. And once it's determined by the MCAG board that the basic transit needs have been met in the county, then remaining local transportation funds can be distributed to the cities for streets and roads purposes, cities and the county. These funds have various sources. So some of them, the state controller gives us an allocation. They're based off of diesel fuels taxes, etc. The local transportation fund is based off of sales taxes. And the reason I say that is these numbers in here, the allocation we have is based on the expected receipts for this upcoming fiscal year. So they could be slightly different, but that's the estimated amount. So state transit assistance and state of good repair, we recommend being apportioned to TJPA and YARTS. Let's see. Oh, yeah, just TJPA. YARTS has STA and LTF. Okay, sorry to catch that. I don't want to leave YARTS out. They're struggling, so. So if you look on page 64, this is the table breaking down the local transportation fund proposed allocations. So in the TDA, there's literally like a list of priorities and what gets funded first. So one of the first things is administering the TDA and also using some of these funds for transportation planning. Then there's a fee to the county auditor for managing the funds. After that, there's a 2% amount that can go to bike and ped projects. And then the MCAG board has elected to then count another 5% for the rail reserve. You'll see the three amounts proposed for allocating to the transit agencies. The $300,000 to YARTS has been a fixed number that the board has, approved in the past, and it's been a fixed number. And then the other two numbers for TJPA are based on their needs and their budget for this year. So we will process a claim with them to show that they need those funds. So that's the estimated amount for TJPA. So the remainder is about 1.7 million. And there's an allocation based off population shown there on the table. So those are the three funding sources. So with this item, we're requesting approval of the apportionments. And I can take any questions on how any of it works.
All right, are there any questions for Elizabeth on this item? Not seeing anyone. Are there any questions from members of the public? All right, this is an action item. Chair will entertain a motion. Motion by Samra, second by Pereira. He raised his hand over there. Sorry, I'll get you on the next one. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Moving on to 7B, authorize out-of-state travel for fiscal year 25-26, and we will go to Stacy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is in your board packet on page 66. There are a couple items on this month's agenda that 67. Sorry, I was.
You're right. Starts on 66, ends on 67.
Pages 66, 67. There are a few items on this month's agenda that may feel different, and we are implementing a couple of things. If you are familiar with or aware of some unfortunate developments occurring up in Stanislaus County with the Stanislaus County Association of Governments, we are using the opportunity to try to just improve in our own policies and procedures around transparency, particularly around travel and credit cards and accounting and those types of things. I will say, I'll speak to this a little later, but I do just want to say that we found no particular concerns of similar issue within our own procedures, but there's always an opportunity to improve. So one of those is to bring out-of-state travel requests to the board. This was a practice that I believe was in place when I first came on. Somewhere between then and me taking the reins, it had changed. I know it's not an uncommon practice for many jurisdictions to do. So we will begin to list out-of-state travel in our annual budget, but because we are post-budget adoption, this is what we think we have coming up for the coming year. So that said, the item that is up is our MCAG travel, out-of-state travel for the year. We're are anticipating 3 and asking for approval for all 3 of them today. 2 of them are very common that you are familiar with. The 2025 Valley Voice trip to Washington, D.C. that occurs in September. That will involve 1 staff and 2 directors. Those are our 2 regional policy council members. Director McDaniel is currently the chair, and Director Nagy is our second rep, as well as 1 staff person to attend. This includes flights, lodging, transportation to and from the airport, Uber, stuff like that around town, Metro, any way that we use once we get there, and then both our individual meals and any share of the group meals that may happen. So that is an estimated cost of a little over $12,000. It's $12,224 is our estimate for that trip. For our One Voice trip, which you're all very, very aware of, we're requesting just the usual direct cost for us, which is the sending the board chair and then up to 4 staff, and you can see the breakdown there for a total of $14,080. That is not the program itself; it's just the staff participation and travel costs plus the board chairperson. And then the last is the transportation research board conference, which is a meeting which is in Washington D.C. This is an annual event that happens every January. I attempted to explain what it was at the TRB and failed miserably. But what I do know is it's the technical staff of transportation professionals and experts, and it's an international conference, so it's not just people from the United States, but from throughout the world. It is kind of the technical experts, and we are proposing to send Dr. Ray Ma. He has been a panelist at this conference in his previous life, and just a really great way. He does lead all of our modeling work, which is the most technical stuff that we do. So he'd be there to share ideas and get ideas and, be with people who understand him better than I do, because I don't understand the model. And I will not be afraid to admit it. So he can talk model with other people. So that is in January, and a total cost of $2,368.
All right, are there any questions by the board on this item?
Are any of the flights first class?
No.
Just one quick question. On the Valley Voice, the lodging for 3 people is $6,500 as opposed to One Voice, which is 5 people for $55. Why is it higher?
Let's see, you say One Voice. Well, without even looking at the numbers, I can tell you why in my mind. Yes. So Valley Voice is, well, actually, no, let me look here. It comes down to the time of year, too. Go ahead, Nav.
Yeah, it's the time of year plus
The conference choices.
Sunday. Instead of for One Voice, we fly out the day before, so they fly out on Sunday, then there's Monday, and then and plus where they stay at, it's a little more expensive because you're closer to the capital versus where we stay for One Voice is in Navy Shipyard.
Yeah.
Okay.
We make a more frugal choice for our trip because we have more people, too. Thank you, Nav.
We gotta take care of Pat, So.
Well, I think that with a shorter trip there, and location is a lot about convenience too. It's a bigger delegation. It's more coordination. We move as a group, whereas in our One Voice we move in smaller groups, so it's easier to move people by Uber instead of just walking. The Valley Voice group mostly walks everywhere because the location of the hotel is so close. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right. Are there any questions by members of the public on this? Oh, go ahead.
While the
get Mike on.
lodging is $1,000 more, the flights are $2,000 less.
Yes.
So just putting that out there.
All right.
Duly noted.
Duly noted. All right. Nobody from public wishes to speak on this item. Back to the board. Chair will entertain a motion.
Reed, second.
I have a motion by Amabile, a second by Reed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item 8 is, no, am I in 8? Yeah, I'm on 8. Discussion item. These items will be presented separately in order to allow board members to ask questions or to provide staff direction. Item 8A is presentation, travel, and credit card policies. Stacy.
I am going to hand it, Nav's chomping at the bit here for this. He's going to do the PowerPoint. Just want to just tee it up by saying this was our main item in response to the report that was issued out of StanCog. It, as I mentioned, when we reviewed the report, I think through the weekend, I had actually created a table as I read the report, and I pulled over the major themes and issues that they identified, and I kind of jotted down what we do already and maybe some ideas, and our management team reviewed that. It just so happened that we had an all-staff meeting the next day. We had planned on just doing a refresher on our travel and credit card policies and procedures, so that has already happened. So it just made sense. We thought just to ease in. I haven't heard any concerns from board or any questions. I'm happy to answer any of them if there are, but we thought it might be prudent to just show both the board and the public what we already have in place in terms of our oversight and approval processes for travel and credit card policies. Go ahead, Nav, that's all you now.
Thank you. Good afternoon, board. Like Stacey mentioned, it's the beginning of fiscal year, so what we did for all staff is, refresher what our credit card policies are, what our travel policy is. MCAG does have a travel and a credit card policy. If you guys would like one, we can always email it out. So I'm just going to go over some highlights of what we do in-house. First, we're going to talk about travel process, right? You got to get approvals. We have the travel forms. You have to provide supporting documents, receipts, per diems, and an advance, right? So we'll go next slide. So before anybody goes to travel, the manager or the supervisor has to approve the training or travel for the staff. Once that's approved by the manager or department head, then they have to fill out a pre-approval form, which needs an employee signature, manager signature, and then the executive director's signature. On that form, you have to list out what the cost of the training is going to be, the estimated cost for the hotel, flight, and any other cost that's associated with this travel. In that, we also do per diems. We go off the GSA rates. Depending on where we travel, you get those GSA rates. So if you're in Washington, D.C., you pull it up, and it'll tell you what the daily rate is for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Once that is signed by the executive director, 10 days before the travel, pre-approval along with the advancement form to accounting for disbursement of payment for their per diem. Next slide. Like I said, the supporting documents, we require either a brochure, schedules, agendas, or any information that contains date and cost. A lot of conferences include lunches, so we want to make sure that staff isn't getting a per diem and then also getting a lunch. So we look at those kind of things to make sure that we are being fiduciary responsible with our funds. We also, when they submit a pre-approval, they submit a quote of the hotel, flights, estimated parking for hotels, or if they're traveling by flight, airport, estimated Uber cost, and then registration costs. And then we encourage staff to utilize the agency vehicle if they're traveling to any conference or training. And if the agency vehicle is not available, then they will have to provide a map, like Google Maps, showing the distance from the office to wherever they're traveling. So we know that, the rate that they're seeking reimbursement is correct. And like I said, we use the GSA rates for meals for per diems. Next. Here's a form we're talking about, dates, the name of the travel, destination, purpose of the travel, the days of departure, return, what department, and then basically list out the type of expenses, meals, mileage, airfare, parking, if they're gonna rental cars, shuttles, taxis, lodging, and then conference and registration fees. All reimbursement must be settled within three months of travel. If it's in June, they have to have all settlements done by the end of July. Next slide. So once Stacy and the department heads approve, and then so the claim form basically states if the breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and then incidental. So breakfast is if you leave 1.5 hours before your start date. So if you start at 8 o'clock, you will have to leave 1.5 hours before to claim breakfast. If you're already out of the office and into a hotel, then you get breakfast. Same thing with lunch. You have to have 1.5 hours before lunch to claim that. And if, like I said, if you're already in another county or state the night before, you get it off the bat. And then same thing with dinner. So say you arrive at home at 5:55, you won't be able to claim dinner as allowance. So any questions on the forms or the policy for travel?
Marimbo.
Nab, what does GSA stand for?
Governmental Service Agency.
Agency? Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
We're going to dive into the credit cards now. So credit card statements.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
We use U.S. Bank CalCard. I think a lot of agencies use CalCards as for credit cards, and we're going to talk about what kind of receipts, and then every time, whenever the receipts or whenever the statements are due, 5 days after that, staff has to turn in the packet of what they charge on the credit cards. Next slide, please. So before any purchase, the department head or the manager will have to approve those charges. And then once they're approved, they will have to provide an itemized receipt that includes what the purpose of the purchase was, along with if there's like, for example, if they do a registration for a conference, they'll have to provide the conference registration as a support. Receipts that on the receipt, you also have to include either the account number or the element. If it's like, for example, Caltrans travel, they want to put a particular element so we know to charge it to Caltrans the expenses, or to transit, or to yards, or regional, whatever it is. So we will know where to charge those charges. If multiple people, like for example, if Stacy took people out to lunch, she will have to list the people that attended the lunch, along with if there's agenda or whatever to support that the eligible use of the credit card. And then just the justification. Next slide. So this is our approval form for credit cards. As you can see, the vendor information, description, justification for purchase, and then the manager will sign off. So if a manager uses a credit card, then either Stacy or myself will be approving those charges. So
Who signs it if you use it? And who signs it if you use it? Okay, just check.
He also approves my time off, so.
There you go.
that's it.
That's it? All right. Are there any questions, comments from the board? Not seeing or hearing any. Are there any questions or comments from members of the public?
And I will say the director, Stephanie, does all you guys' claim forms as well. So that goes for you guys. She does all you guys' forms for you guys.
Yeah, that's why we never really see them. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to thank Stacy, Nav, and the rest of the team. You know, after that article came out, I called Stacy just to check in, and, you know, she kind of went through all the things that were listed and then, you know, knew specifically how we handled each of those. And anyways, that just, you know, gives me confidence that we're doing a good job and that you guys are doing a good job. And so just want to thank you.
Perfect. I echo those comments, Director Pereira. Just thank you for bringing that up. It was kind of hot news around the valley for a few days. All right. Item 8B is air quality conformity update, and we will go to Elizabeth.
You're in for a treat on this one.
Oh, thanks, Stacy. So I've been trying to prepare for this item and do the best as I can to explain it. It's highly technical and very critical for us. So we're at the point where we need to talk with you all about kind of what the situation is and what potential next steps are. So I know that are all some level familiar with the process that we undertake at MCAG. Is we have planning documents about 25 years out. We model the traffic impacts of all of our projects that we want to fund for 25 years. And then we run those projects through an air quality model to show that we're meeting our federal air quality requirements. It's routine. It's one of our primary jobs here at MCAG. The air quality model contains some assumptions on what type of vehicles will be driven in California for the next 25 years. And for many years, California had a waiver from some federal Clean Air Act laws that allowed California to set higher standards than the federal standard. So, for example, the aggressive regulation for more zero emission vehicles is allowed or was allowed because of the waiver. And there's some other types of waivers for heavy duty trucks and things like that. So very recently, the waivers for California were revoked. What that does for us in transportation planning is right now it means that our air quality model is no good. We can't use it again. The assumptions are not correct. So we are in what we call a conformity lockdown, where we cannot use this air quality model in the near future until there's some resolution to this. What it means functionally for us is that if you have a project that's already been modeled and it's already been passed with the air quality issues, then you're fine. If you want to change a project in any significant way or add like a new capacity increasing project, then we have a problem. There aren't going to be issues with bike projects, transit projects, PED projects. The clean air projects can always move forward. But any of the projects that increase capacity can no longer run through the air quality model and, prove that they're eligible, to be funded and to move forward. So if you're in progress, you're okay. If you need a major scope change, which happens sometimes, we can't do a major scope change. We can't do a schedule change. We can't move a project up 2 years or back 2 years because then it won't match our model. If it's not resolved timely, which some of these things are not resolved very timely because it's very complex, then we will have an issue with our 2026 regional transportation plan and what we are able to adopt next year. It has some ramifications for that Water-Merced Expressway project that we intend to kind of talk with you all about more and figure out what a next step might be. So some of this is in the air. Are we allowed to do this? Are we allowed to do that? Are we going to be able to fix this by, changing these budgets or getting some kind of exception? Right now, it's the Valley, it's the entire state having this issue. How can we fix the model? Can we adjust it somehow? It's all up in the air. It takes, the MPOs, the Air Resources Board, EPA, and a lot of different agencies to figure out how this will work. I mentioned that Water-Merced Expressway because what recently happened with that project after kind of 3 years of negotiations, essentially, is that the project team was given the green light to move forward with the modeling. So for a couple of years, EPA was debating how the project should be modeled. It was very complex and just way too complicated. But finally, EPA said, yes, we agree with your methodology. Go ahead and start your modeling. But now the air quality model is on a lockdown and, not good. So I'm not sure what we'll do. And, we're discussing on the technical side what maybe could be done, right? It was approved before the model went, lockdown or whatever. So it's still in the very early stages. And I just have to say it's really rare. So I probably can't answer all of your questions. But what I do know is that we can't do major amendments now, and we might have some problems moving some projects forward. And so we intend to talk about this at the Valley level, and very likely when we go to Washington, D.C. in September, and there may be other things that we need to do. So that was... Go ahead, Stacey.
Okay.
That was actually really good. Thank you very much. This is the third time I've heard it, and I understand it better every time. But I did just want to say that, correct me if I'm wrong, but all of our regional projects right now that are underway that are capacity increasing. So AME, the 59 projects, Pioneer, I think those are the big ones. Maybe Campus Parkway, if there's so AME and 59 or 59 and Campus Parkway would be if there was a schedule change or something major were to disrupt, they could because they're through environmental, or AME is not, but, and then 59 and Campus Parkway are, but it feels like AME is right at the top because it's at that critical stage right now, and this is a huge disruption, but the others could just as much could be impacted just as much should this not get resolved in any timely fashion. Is that true? Is that an adequate way of saying it?
Yeah.
I mean, the implications could be very, very far-reaching if not resolved in a reasonable time.
Yes, and major sanctions don't come into play right away. This is kind of a slow process. It can take a year before there's major sanctions. But when the projects aren't conformed, for example, the Federal Highway Administration or whoever might not be able to, they can't sign off on your NEPA document, your environmental documents. They can't give you a federal permit that you might need for your project. There's a number of things that they can't act on, potentially this hotspot conformity thing that we've been working on with AME. So there's things they can't act on in general that can kind of pause a project. Or, you know, kind of stop a project in its tracks potentially. And then also, as Stacey was mentioning, if someone, you know, if a project needs to change the schedule or the limits, we can't do that. If you're already in progress, like the 59 project now, if you already have an approval for something, you know, it doesn't take back any approvals, but it'll just be regarding what can, you know, potentially be changed or approved. So it could be a problem, but we're working on it.
Questions or comments from the board?
Did this come down from the EPA?
The administration changed the waivers, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Was it, the waivers were EPA, through EPA, right?
They're Clean Act waivers, and
Okay.
it was let's see, CRAs.
Yeah, I think it was an executive order, if I'm not mistaken, but it was a waiver. It was a rescission of California's waivers.
There was some discussion about who rescinds it, but
Yeah.
or they are rescinded. There's 3.
Director McDaniel.
Yeah, I can say that our lobbyist is aware of it. They've already, from what I understand, the secretary is already aware of it. And these are some unintended consequences through it. And so as we move forward, actually our lobbyist and maybe even somebody from the secretary's office wants to participate in our discussion. So sharpen your skills, be ready. We're going to be calling you to explain it to see what the snag is.
And we have Trinity Consultants on contract. They've been our air quality people for a really long time. Elizabeth and Ray do great jobs. I'm the one that bumbles it up because to a certain point it just turns into Charlie Brown phone noise in my head. Thank you.
Director Nagy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could you discuss what the worst case scenario would be? Would it be just scrapping the AME and scrapping all these projects? And
So the worst case scenarios, first, technically, is there's a point where we can only move forward on air quality exempt projects. So if this isn't resolved by the time we're ready to adopt the 2026 RTP, our RTP will only have air quality exempt projects in it. It won't have capacity increasing projects in it.
Hold on one second.
Let's translate that into, if that is the case, then what the measure can fund would also be changed.
Yeah, so it's
Because the measure requires your project to be in the RTP.
correct, it does. It's also not necessarily a case, or it's not a case that if you don't use federal funds on a project, this doesn't apply. It does apply, regardless of the funding source. So we wouldn't, you know, if this continues and our model, our RTP expires in 2026, we wouldn't be able to include capacity increasing projects, which would mean they can't move forward, right? If they're already in the works, they can, but there's no new approvals. It doesn't automatically mean that funds are lost, but it depends on what the funding source is. We have a lot of funding on that Warren Merced Expressway through the State Transportation Improvement Program. It's programmed, it's there. We would expect that, you know, it'll be there, and it will get delayed, but there will be a lot of things, you know, that all of the agencies work with. Sometimes your project has 4 different funding sources and they're about to expire. So expiration dates on funding could be a significant problem. And that's actually the first thing that we tend to do. As soon as these waivers were rescinded, Caltrans put out a call to all of the MPOs saying, give us a list of all of your projects, their schedules, and how much funding is at stake. Because that's where, they start putting that together and explaining to legislators and whatnot what the issue is. So delayed, which obviously costs a lot of money, or potentially, losing money. That's our worst case scenario.
Thank you.
I could maybe think of worse, but that's pretty bad.
So can I, in my mind, can I summarize what I think is happening here? Is the new administration doesn't agree with they gave them the waivers for these I'm going to call it like these kind of pie in the sky, what we're going to all be driving electric and hydrogen vehicles 25 years from now. Those waivers have expired. So now we're in a pissing match with the federal government and the state government, right? And so they're holding them off because they don't believe in our modeling, and the state is saying, well, we believe in our modeling, and so we're not going to change anything. So the reality to me is the state, if this is what it's going to be for the next 4 years, the state needs to, in order to keep from what you just mentioned, every day that goes by that a project's not done just means cost escalations. Whatever it costs today, a month from now, a year from now, 2 years from now is going to cost us more. So we're just going to get into this stalemate, and then we're not going to, projects that are already working in the works are moving forward, but anything new, so then we just sit out there in no man's land. Right? Is that what am I? And so where is the pressure coming from? It's the feds are saying we won't advance your air conformity models, and so therefore you're not eligible. And the state's saying we're going to require that.
Yeah, I can clarify a couple of those points. So one of the things that you all know, but is always a relief to us at MCAG, is that this is affecting all the agencies in California, and a lot of them have a lot bigger projects and a lot more money and a lot more power at stake. So we'll all be getting together on this. As far as the modeling, really, in the long experience that I've had in our transportation consultant, we, as in, the industry, so CARB and EPA and everyone, will work through a way to see how we can, make the modeling work, or how to fix this. It might take a long time. It's not even necessarily that California can say to the administration, no, we're using this model. We can't. It's not validated. It's not even a point of discussion is to say, no, we're using this anyway. It's to say we have to change our model now to fit real world conditions based on the revocation of the waivers. So how do we fix our model is kind of more of where we're at. I don't know, maybe that's too small of a difference. You're like, that's basically what I said, but it's more of a how do we fix this? There isn't a lot of options for California, on the technical side to say, well, we like it better. And I don't know if this will make everyone laugh a little bit, but California uses a model called MCAG, stands for emission factors, and the other 49 states use a different model called mobile. So, we just got to be special and have our old model, and that's the one that's not working.
No, I mean, and I think you more eloquently explained basically the state, we're in this proverbial pissing match, that the state of California says that our way is the best way, and we're not going to change, and the federal government says we don't like that. And because we don't like that, because if we just said we'll lower ours to what they want, then bam, done, solved, look at that. Just imagine that. But no, we're going to be into our governor is running for president, and our current president doesn't like our governor, and so then guess who suffers? All of us, caught up in the mess. That's at least my humble opinion on what I think is happening. Director Pereira.
How has the Air District been to work with? I mean, are they providing us information that you're able to utilize, or?
So the local air district is very helpful. They're always in our corner. Another part of this is that the air district, along with CARB, the Air Resources Board, they prepare our state implementation plans, our ozone plans, our PM, particulate matter plans, et cetera. Those can't be approved in some of these scenarios, and that's another issue I just didn't want to bring up today, but they're working on those as well. So, I mean, when we go through this process, the Air District is excellent to work with. Even, I will say, I don't need to say, I will say, CARB is really helpful too at trying to get us through these things and negotiating and working with EPA. So Yeah.
And then, you know, sometimes I say stupid stuff that just to give y'all a chuckle, because sometimes meetings get boring. But like, I can stop now, y'all chuckled. No, but like, I mean, is it far-fetched to say that we would make AME an EV and carpool only roadway to get it built? And then once this pissing match, as my colleague has suggested it is resolved, then we can open it up for everybody? I mean, is that possible?
I would say probably not, because, well, a lot of the negotiations truly on this past 3 years with the EPA was talking about what kind of vehicles are going to be driving on this road, how medium duty trucks, heavy duty trucks, like that was part of the discussion. And I don't think they would, believe that. But, and then unless we can change it in our model, it doesn't necessarily help. But
Help anyways, okay. I mean, if it would, it gets it built, then, because by the time it gets built, this issue will be resolved. So anyways, okay.
the issue with AME at the moment is just keeping it on track, because it's been seriously delayed. Keeping it on track in order to, receive the construction in 2027. So there's still a long way to go on that. And even though it will eventually be resolved, like, we're already starting to fall behind. So I guess I didn't need to tell you. You guys already know that, but we're working on that in the project timeline.
And I'll just add for AME in particular, it's a bit of whiplash. We've struggled, or maybe some of the delay, large part of the delay was during the previous administration going this direction, and now we're in this lockdown with the current administration going a different way. So we kind of are getting a right hook, left hook on the delay on that particular project. I'll just leave it there, because I think anything else I say will just open up more questions that can probably wait.
Director Nick, go ahead.
Chairman, just one more question is how is this going to affect the finish the 99? I mean, we've stood by and let all the other agencies fix their portion, and now it's our turn. And is this going to kill that?
Well, at the moment, since 99 is a little bit far out for us, it's not necessarily affecting us now. I'm thinking through this as I say it. I know only so many things. No. Well, right now in our traffic model, we show 99 being widened. If we can't pass with that, it's potentially, we have to take it out of our model and out of our plans. For us, I mean, with the assumption that this will be resolved within a few years, it doesn't hurt us too much. We don't have a lot of funding on our 99 projects now. The state is working on the project study reports. And if they keep working on those, which they can do with their state funding this year, we'll still be on track with our projects for the time being. It would just be bad if we got a really huge grant, but that's not going to happen quite yet. So, because if someone gets a huge grant or they're able to move a project forward or something, they can't do that now. So that's what some of the issues are.
Any other comments? Well, we really appreciate that great news.
Welcome.
Yeah. Are there any members of, go ahead.
I set it up that way so that when we fix it, we'll say, oh, we fixed this.
There you go. Celebrate the victories. Is there any members of the public who would like to comment on this item? Not seeing anyone. We will move along. We're going to go to the TJPA. We have one action item, 9A, authorize out-of-state travel for fiscal year 25-26, and we'll go to Serenity.
Okay, I'm so excited to follow that. Thank you, directors. So this is a follow-up to the previous item that Stacy spoke about, and the authorization of out-of-state travel for TJPA. TJPA is a member of a couple transit associations in the state, the two main ones being CalAct and CTA. So this request is for 3 staff to travel to the CalAct conference And you may be asking yourself why the California Association for Consolidated Transit needs to be traveling outside of the state. It is a minor technicality that the conference this year is being held in State Line, Nevada. So staff will be staying in the state of California, but traveling to Nevada for the conference itself. This is a really good conference for staff, a really good chance for us to connect with our peers and get to see what the new technologies for transit and buses and things like that is, stay up to date on all the information for different policies, fundings, and especially with all the move towards EV and everything that's constantly changing there. It always does provide very, very good information. I think a few of our directors have attended in the past, hopefully found some useful information with it. And so we are looking to send 3 staff, 2 to 3 staff, but the costs you see are for 3, with a total of approximately $7,000 for the 4-day conference. We will be driving, so that's why you don't really see any travel costs in there. There'll be a little bit of fuel, but if there's any questions, I can happily take them.
Any questions on this item? Not seeing anyone. Any members of the public? Not seeing anyone. Chair will entertain a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Pereira, a second by Pedroso. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Serenity. Moving on to item 11, the Merced County Regional Waste Management Authority. We have 2 action items there. Action 11A is authorize the out-of-state travel for fiscal year 25-26, and we have James, who is on vacation, but decided to join us remotely. Hey, you even took your shirt on. You took your shirt on vacation too. That's pretty cool.
No, yeah, I wasn't actually on vacation. I actually had the honor the last few days of serving as the lead instructor for one of SWANA's manager of landfill classes up in Lodi. And we had 33 solid waste professionals from throughout California and even one individual from the state of Washington. And we spent 3 days talking about landfill management practices and philosophies. And it was a great group. I got to interact with several of my counterparts from San Joaquin County and Calaveras County. So it was a great time. I did manage to get down to Los Banos last night. Mayor Amabile, good to see you again. Had a terrific meeting up there for their council and, talked about their clean closure project. This first item we're talking about is in line with the ones that Serenity and Stacy previously presented for out-of-state travel. For RWA, we have one conference that will take place in November of 2025. That's the annual conference for SWANA. This is the first year they have rebranded the conference. It used to be WasteCon. It is now RCon. And this item is for myself and our diversion manager to attend that conference. Total cost of about just over $5,000, including registration, lodging, flights, and transportation. Again, this item was built into our operating budget. No additional funding is requested at this time. So at this time, we're asking an authorization for the out-of-state travel. And if there are any questions, I can answer those.
All right, any questions or comments from my colleagues? Not seeing any. Is there any members of the public who wish to comment on this item? Seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion.
Move to approve, Amabile.
I have Amabile first and Samra second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Moving on to 11B, authorize the executive director to enter into a contract for landfill gas utilization engineering services in the amount of $219,020 with the selected vendor GHD Incorporated. And we'll go to Mr. Moore on this one again.
All right, thank you again, Chair. Before I move into this actual item, I wanted to refresh the board's memory about the email that Stacy sent out on June 27th, highlighting the fact that our Highway 59 landfill had been removed from the state's inventory of non-performing sites for landfill gas control. That was our successful resolution to the Probe 45 gas migration issue on the east side of the Highway 59 landfill. And I want to make sure to call out our team for the effort that they put into that project over the last 2.5 years since I came on board. It was one of the items Stacy and I talked about when I first interviewed for the position. And that was one of the goals I set, was to get that issue resolved. And I'm very proud of the team for getting that done. That accomplishment allows us to start moving forward with other activities, one of which is finding a beneficial use for the landfill gas that we have on site. This item, we went through our procurement team from MCAG, issued a request for qualifications from engineering consultants with experience in these beneficial gas reuse projects. We had 3 very well qualified firms that responded. The interview team went through, did the evaluation, and at the end of the day, GHD Incorporated was selected as the most beneficial. The original price that they proposed was $240,981. After the negotiations with GHD, that price was brought down to $219,020. The primary scope of their work is going to be to assist us in developing an RFP that we can put out and honestly get a good developer that is going to move forward and actually be able to implement a project that will use our landfill gas for a beneficial project, whether that be renewable natural gas or electricity generation of some sort. We have seen throughout the industry right now that many facilities have put out these projects, but it often takes 2, 3, 4 years to get the project to fruition and actually see revenue coming in. We're fairly confident that GHD is going to be able to help us with that RFP so that we can do it right the first time and get a project running out at Highway 59. At this time, the requested action is to authorize the executive director, enter into a contract until the procurement process is complete and a notice to proceed with the developer is signed for landfill gas utilization engineering services in the amount of $219,020 with GHD Incorporated. And I'll take any questions from anyone at this time.
All right. Are there any question by members of the board? All right. Not seeing any. Are there any questions by members of the public? Not seeing anyone. The only thing I will note is that with the contingency, the total ask is for $249,22. So, seeing no questions by anybody, Chair will entertain a motion. I have a motion by Pereira, a second by Samra. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you, James. All right, moving on.
Thank you.
Item number 13 is 12, we don't have any. Now 13 is the Executive Director's Report. Stacy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You have a couple of items at your chairs today that are either, well, I'll just point out we have our newsletter, which is the beautiful printed copy here, that we also have digital, but it was not, I think it did not make the agenda packet deadline. Okay. But what you also have is this beautiful On the Move for 2025. This is your Measure V annual report. This is a reminder that we issue this at the end of every fiscal year, and it is a recap of the previous fiscal year. So we're about a year behind, and not behind. The way that the reporting and then audits happen, we're looking about a year back from when we issue it, and that just feels kind of strange for your head to wrap around sometimes, so I just wanted to point that out. This is meant to be a highlight document, so every year we've focused on a different part or a different type of funding in the program. So as you see, this was the year of our zero emission bus purchases, so you'll see a lot, of course, the summary snapshot of our East Side, West Side projects and project examples. And then you'll see quite a bit dedicated to the transit component, zeroing in, oh, that was a bad pun, on our zero emission buses. But that was a very big accomplishment for the program. And if you've ever traveled behind this bus, it does actually say, thanks to Measure V, you can't smell me, because there's no tailpipe emissions. My team thought I was crazy several years ago when I said I wanted to put that on the bus, and I think they humored me until we started looking at the wraps, and I'm like, yeah, we're going to actually put that on the bus. So anyway, just some really great statistics here about the reduction in diesel consumption by 358,000 gallons, the reduction of tailpipe CO2 emissions by more than 8 million pounds, almost 2 million vehicle miles traveled eliminated. So this is just really great stuff, and it was just the start of our zero emission program thanks to the Measure V contribution. So great team, great job to the PIO team and the planning team to help put this together. So just wanted to make sure we have copies. We have this digital, and are we providing copies throughout the region? So you'll see this more. If you need more, let us know, and it'll also be on our website. So we want to make sure folks are aware. I sent an email earlier today, but I did just want to note that if you haven't seen in the news over the last 24 hours, the president did announce the rescission of the $4 billion in federal funding to the California High-Speed Rail project. Yeah, we only need half of that, and we could finish the 99. I mentioned that we do have the Regional Rail Committee. I've already reached out to the high-speed rail team. I think it would be prudent that we circle the wagons a bit to just have an understanding of how the authority is going to be moving forward with the project in light of this. We have a lot, I think, of everyone in the state of California. Merced really has the most that will have the biggest, I think, impact on other potential projects that are coming to the region if this project isn't successful. So if you're on the Regional Rail Committee, please keep your eye out. I'm waiting to get some dates from High Speed Rail Authority, and we'll be planning to have a convening at the end, hopefully, of August. Also want to mention that California Transportation Commissioner Eager has reached out to me, and we are trying to work with the California Transportation Commission to host the October meeting. There are very specific parameters to be able to host a meeting of this type, and very limited options in terms of size and Wi-Fi bandwidth and all of the other things. But we are working on a couple of opportunities to do that. The meeting dates are set for October 16, 17. That would conflict with this meeting, but if it works the way we are, I think we would want a good showing at the start of the meeting when we do a welcome. We could actually still convene here, and then if we have an evening event after this meeting to go to a reception with the commissioners, so on and so forth, so we can get all of our business done. But more to come there. We're working on it. I did also want to mention that I have talked several times about the local alternative transportation improvement program that we were able to create in response to Caltrans' action to sell the excess land on Highway 152 between Dos Palace, or between the Y and just east of Los Banos. The first parcel for that auction has been sold, or went to auction, and is, I think there's a technical component that's happening, but I was told that parcel sold for $440,000. That money stays in an account for MCAG to use on projects that we've already submitted as candidates to the CTC. So I say that because I think the estimate for the entirety of all the properties was about $1 million to $2 million. So to have one property, which is probably the one that would bring in the most, but to already have almost $500,000 was really exciting from a LATIP perspective. So more to come, and all of those those transactions all have to be wrapped up within 5 years. So we'll have within 5 years, I think, a nice chunk of change that would have otherwise gone back to the state. And then lastly, I just want to say, before I do, I hope you got your Finish the 99 pins. If you want any more, let me know. We are sharing them with our partners in Madera and Tulare. We'll make sure the Valley-wide delegation has them when they go to Washington in September, and all of our delegation has them when we go to Washington in May. And then the last thing I do want to mention is I appreciated the comments from Director Pereira and Chair Silvera and several of you who called after the Stanislaus report was done, and I appreciated all the positive comments and the trust and the support. So I need to give a shout out to Nav Bagri, he and his team do an excellent job of not just following the process, but when something, sometimes when you go through processes, you're like, ooh, this could be better, or this could be cleaner, or this could be more transparent. They're always really good about bringing those things into light, and then putting, we talk about it, get policies in place. So I appreciated all of it. I think we have a great team of people who are very policy oriented and really committed to transparency, but Nav, don't make me change my mind already. Nav giving me a snarl. But Nav and his team really are at the heart of making sure that, they're keeping us on our toes and asking the right questions. So they really get the bulk of the kudos. And that's my report.
Thank you, Stacy. Any other board members have any comments? Director Pereira.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the On the Move, Dahlia Costa in our office has put together a packet that our staff takes when they go to Municipal Advisory Council meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you could send over, I don't know what's,
Got it.
50 of them maybe or something, and then we'll get them out to the communities. So I think that would be beneficial.
Perfect.
Who did the 99 pins, finished the 99 pins? Did we do that or somebody else?
We did them. The PIO team did them.
Yeah.
It was an idea, and so it came out of here and came out several times, and it turned into this. So, but Mary Michael's team led the charge, and the idea came from a Sacramento trip that we had with TCAG. I think it was actually maybe Ted said we should get pins, and we have a logo, but I thought the 99 is just so much more recognizable. And then was it you, Elizabeth, that said finish the? Yeah. I think so. So it was a team effort. Someone, I think it was Elizabeth that said we should finish the on top instead of whatever it was before. So it was a team effort. But yes, it originated out of MCAG, and we're doing it on behalf of the coalition.
So are you sending some to the other jurisdictions?
Yes.
So how many did we print or make?
300. I think we did 300 to start. Is that right, Mary Michael? I couldn't decide if we did 300 or 600. There's a lot.
Yeah, I'd like to get some.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So
They're only $9.99.
So what we had decided, we actually have a work element and a partnership with Tulare Association of Governments and Madera County Transportation Commission and MCAG. We are the Finish the 99 Coalition. So I think we did 300 because we thought this initial batch, if we'll see how popular they are, we'd take 100 each. So I'm going to send 100 down, and so we've probably gotten 85 right now, but we can order more.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you don't have to order more for me, but if they're available.
Yep.
And then, so I'm working on trying to get LaGrange Road, which is J59, to be accepted by Caltrans as State Highway 59 continuation from Snelling up to the sawmill at the 108 interchange. So Senator Alvarado Gil has, had some meetings with Caltrans, is looking at carrying legislation. One of the items we need is to create a safety nexus. So if any of you have any ideas on, the one I have is the fire equipment that moves through here to go up. But if you have any other thoughts on safety thoughts or something, let me know, or let's, Stacy know, because we could use more help.
Has anyone talked about evacuation routes? Like if it was a critical evacuation route upon a foothill fire?
Perfect. No.
that might be that. I know that's been really popular for unfortunate reasons, but after the Paradise Fire, a lot of focus on and because it is a foothill connection, that maybe that's an angle we could look at.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's awesome. And then my last question is for Nav, and I don't know if board reports allow for a question, but could I get just an update on the hydrogen fuel trailer?
Be happy to.
Yeah, I'm sure, but do we have it?
We're actually releasing an RFP on Monday or Tuesday for looking at a trailer or lease or purchase, and then also fueling options. The bus that we were supposed to get for what's it called, a demo, was supposed to be set to arrive in August. They have some issues with it, so now they're pushing it to November. So we might just procure it out, procure all and make sure that we get all the best deals. But it's either releasing Monday or Tuesday for trailer and fueling options. But we already know what it's going to cost, and Serenity has more on it.
Well, I was just going to slight correction to what Nav said. Our bus that's being built doesn't have issues. There was a previous bus that is in demo down in Southern California. It had a minor issue with one of the electric motors that is being swapped out. They're waiting for that to be complete and, make sure that that is all set before they finish our bus. So that's what's delayed ours, but I think it'll actually work out really well with our fueling timeline. So.
Okay. And then so once we get this fueling trailer, if there's other jurisdictions that would like to buy fuel through us, is that going to be possible or not?
I know that is something that we've discussed. Yeah.
Microphone, please.
Sales rep voice. That's one of the things we did talk about. We talked to Mark Mims about, and the people at the base to see if they needed it if we don't utilize it. Once our year's over, it's probably gonna be idle for like 4 or 5 months because we are gonna be placing an order for our actual hydrogen bus with some state funds that we're gonna be utilizing. So it's gonna be sitting there. So it's up to the board decision if they want to basically sell hydrogen to locals or whomever.
Okay.
But we will be bringing an item to the board once we do finalize that.
Thanks for the update. Appreciate it.
Right. Director Nagy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Earlier in the meeting, we voted to allow for the removal of the emergency telephones, and I would just ask that those be made available to different historical societies and museums in the county, because the younger people already don't know what the heck they are. So I think that'd be great.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Any other comment? Director Sammer.
Yeah, for me, I'm just a little disappointed with the news we got regarding high-speed rail, but politics are that. Politics, As soon as the administration DC changed, we knew what was going to happen. There's that thing with he doesn't want this to be the governor to be the next president, whatever, but it is what it is. But, it is disappointing because I think, in my view, it's going to hurt our county a lot more than in others, because high-speed rail halts, it's going to take longer for the H train to get here. There's a lot of interconnections. It is really disappointing. I've been trying to kind of follow it along on news, but you can't really find out. But there was a talk of that maybe the governor of the state was looking at maybe private-public partnership, or that maybe the state it's going to be difficult, that it may be difficult, but maybe the state will step up with the loss we're getting for the fence, at least for now. But I don't know. I just hope that something gets worked out, It is very crucial, I think, in my mind, to Merced, the county, Merced, everybody as a regional place. Thank you.
Director Amabile.
I just wanted, last night when James was at our city council meeting, City of Los Banos is closing down a bottle dump from the 30s, 40s, 50s. And we've hired a company, BSK, to do all the design, to remove what needs to be removed, did all the studying and everything. So we had BSK rep, we had James there last night. James answered all the questions like he'd been working on it for 5 years like the other company did. he knew how the state was going to handle, the water board was going to handle it. So we have a gym there. Just wanted to tell you that.
All right, not seeing anyone else. Just my final comment is I think that what I'm asking for is I know that we've been doing these quarterly 2:30 workshops regarding the homeless and housing, and I think that we probably don't need to have those on such a regular basis. And so I would ask, and this is not a chair's directive, but I'd ask you to at least have a conversation with Mr. Checkley, and maybe a conversation around not as frequent or on an as needed basis, because I do think it every once in a while, but I feel like they're just they're getting a little monotonous in that, and he's doing a great job presenting, but I don't necessarily think that they're as warranted as maybe they were in the past. So if we could make that happen, that would be great. And with that,
I'm sorry, did we go through? Did you? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm so used to it, my brain was in a different
what did I
mode.
do?
You're doing great, Mr. Chairman. You did it right. My head was thinking you had to go down the aisle.
I already did that. Yes, no, I'm just was thinking, because I know on our meeting, we said next meeting, the governing board will be August 21st at 3 p.m. located here. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.